What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Demastered, episode 91. Yeah! As always, I'm your host, Joe. I'm joined by Charlie.
How's it going, guys?
Very good. I like when you
say Joe.
Just say Joe to me.
What's going on, Joe?
Don't acknowledge Joe. Good. Bought my NXT tickets this morning.
What is that?
It's a
Don't ask
wrestling
him.
show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I hate you.
You did this to yourself.
Going to WrestleMania weekend. And as always, joined by Tom.
91 episodes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
a big
It's about
number.
time to round up the pigs, count them all out. All 91 of them, sacrifice them to the wolf god.
Oh, God. You know I love me the wolf
Keep
god.
yourself satiated for another year. It's 2017.
And I would say some people call him the Brock Lesnar of our group.
Some people call him the gangster of
the
love.
part-time monster.
You are
Damn.
terrible.
I don't like any of
Some
them.
people
I literally like
call
none
him
of that.
Maurice.
Why? You're
I don't know who that is.
So you're part-time. You know who Brock Lesnar is?
I mean, I know he's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler, UFC fighter, uses
Yeah.
steroids in the UFC. Apparently.
Exactly. I don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
Let me ask, by the way, is there any reason when I go to the local Walgreens that it should take that line that has one person in it should take more than 5 minutes to get through
to get a prescription?
to get an energy drink?
Oh, an energy drink?
No.
Well, no.
They're so goddamn slow over
Yeah,
there.
the Walgreens is pretty bad.
It's ridiculous.
But this
Sponsored
isn't
by
your
Walgreens.
no, not sponsored by Walgreens. This is not your Walgreens / Brock Lesnar theorizing podcast. This is our weekly video game podcast. Get together, talk about video games. Let's start with games we played.
Cool.
Tom,
Yeah.
what did you do this week?
Oh my God. Well, it's really just been a lot of, cleanup. Not a whole lot of new games. Speaking of cleanup, I actually decided to buy the Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year whatever celebration.
Yeah,
the title
20th.
of that game is dumb.
Happy party fun time.
So the PS4 version is the whole title. Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration. That is the full title for the PS4 game.
Good.
Celebrating 20 years. It makes sense.
Playing
Appreciate
that
your hate.
on PS4 Pro. Actually, that's probably the most impressive game I've played on PS4 Pro so far because I feel like that's the only one that really adds or utilizes that extra boost in horsepower to its full potential. Like, if you want to, you can play that game, and this is on console, on PS4 Pro, you can play that game at 60 frames per second with the occasional dip to like 50, which for that game, which is beautiful and highly detailed, is very impressive. And then you can also play it at like the standard 30, but with enhanced
Visuals.
graphical detail, so enhanced texture detail and enhanced vegetation. But you still have that aliasing. So the mode I play on is actually the 4K mode, down sample, super sample to 1080p, and that gives me like on my TV, it is some of the cleanest image quality I've ever seen. It looks, and you get that with a lot of the PS4 Pro games. Like even Final Fantasy 15 had like ridiculously clean image quality in the Pro. But it looks so nice. And yeah, I guess you are technically getting more detail with the enhanced mode, but with this, everything just looks so clean. There is no fucking aliasing whatsoever.
Yeah.
It looks wonderful. And I know you were talking about it earlier when we played on PC,
Yes.
but it bears repeating. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a fucking wonderful looking game.
Yes, it is. That was such a good jump going from. I mean, even the original Tomb Raider looks really good. With the definitive edition like upgrades they made.
Yeah.
But just going right from that one to Rise of the Tomb Raider, like there is that like very easily that step up that they took
And
with it.
it's a little thing like, so you can like switch between the modes on the fly and just see the changes immediately. So you drop it down to the high frame rate and you just see all the texture detail drop and everything. But the cool thing is like, if you notice like Lara's jacket in the beginning of the game, like when you switch it to the super sampled mode, you just see all this like texture detail in her jacket pop that wasn't there before. It's crazy.
I wonder if that is selling PS4 Pros to people.
Well, I mean, like you get a lot of options, and yeah, you don't get as many options as you get on a PC, but for a console, it's really cool. And I'm hoping that going into 2017, we get more titles like Rise of the Tomb Raider that really feel like they were fucking optimized for the PS4 Pro, especially from Sony first party. Like I want to see these kind of options given to something like Horizon or given to the other upcoming first party releases.
Horizon's probably going to have some like pretty big stuff, I hope.
See, the one thing I would like with Sony, and really this goes with Microsoft too, because Nintendo's the only one that does it, is to release like exact numbers for each of their systems. Like they have different numbers for their 3DS, their new 3DS, and their 2DS. Like they separate the numbers. Obviously, when they count it all, they all count it as the one major number. But every quarter, whenever they do their statements, they'll break it down. So I would love to see the breakdown of PS4 Pro sold over this holiday compared to regular play, and see as you were saying before, just see that comparison.
And even like I started Mankind Divided on PS4 Pro. Even that looks very good. Like substantial, noticeable upgrades to that game.
I saw some pictures of it like when they were testing the HDR capabilities a few months ago with it on the standard PS4, and even then you could see like an actual upgrade from what it was.
I'm very excited to play these games when I do get my my 4K TV with HDR, because like having seen I was at Sam's Club, but I took a really a good long look at a TV that had HDR capability, and
was it also 4K or was it just okay?
4K HDR, this beautiful curved TV.
Oh, nice.
But oh my god, like I HDR is such a buzzword, but when you see it put to good use, it's fucking like it's incredible. Like everything just pops so much more.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it hard to go back and look at another image. Like I was looking at my TV after that, and that was like the thing that sold me, is that I need a TV with 4K HDR.
Yeah, I was actually just speaking of TV. Sorry to
no, you're
cut
good.
you
You're
off real quick, but speaking of TVs, I was looking at like the 1440p monitors. Because obviously
that is that vertical resolution.
Because the only reason I was looking at them is because they were talking about if you have a computer, it's like at this point it's better to go with the 1440p screen instead of getting like a 4K ready screen.
Yeah,
just because it's just not there yet with the pricing. Like pricing on TV 4K is reasonable.
Yeah,
pricing on 4K monitors are a little way overpriced, I feel like, compared to regular monitors.
Is it like above $1,000 or like is it close to $2,000?
The size I have is like close to like 330 or 350, 400.
Okay.
Or 1440s are around 150 to 200.
Okay.
So it's almost double the pricing.
Okay.
And that's where I'm drawing the line of no. I'm like,
I'm gonna bring it up now, but the TV I'm looking at, or the TV I plan on picking up, as soon as we get our tax returns, is the Samsung 43-inch Ultra HD. It's a smart TV.
Okay.
But it was a model that came out earlier this year. But
what was the price on it?
The price was generally I don't think they have a lot of new ones in stock right now. But the price generally hangs out around like $500 to $600.
That for a 40-inch TV?
Yeah,
for like a
43-inch. Yeah,
that's like a good. Yeah, that's a reasonable price. I mean, like, when these things were first hitting the markets, they were like $3,500 plus.
That's what's cool about this, is I feel like 4K finally has gotten to that point where 1080p was, where it's affordable now.
Yeah,
you can hop into 4K, you can hop into HDR, and there's not this giant barrier in front of you unless you want like an OLED or something.
Yeah, that was so funny when 1080ps were like, oh my god, that thing is like $2,000, $5,000.
I didn't play on a 1080p television until like 2013.
Yeah, I got my TV
that's
1080. Like 2.5 years ago. I was playing on a 720 until then.
I had a monitor. It was around when Gears 2 came out, was the first time I had anything that was like high definition, and it was using the VGA cable for Xbox 360.
I played Fallout 3 on a tube TV.
I played
So did I.
I played games on a tube TV until like 2011.
Yeah, now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like I remember that TV too. It's
like I played
huge.
No, the first one was that one I got at Best Buy. That Samsung that was down here. That was the first HD TV that was in our house.
I played
Insane.
I played the like Mass Effect 1 and 2 and all these games, Alan Wake and BioShock. I played that all on a tube TV.
Yeah,
that's so nuts.
weird.
Yeah.
To think about. Now there's just screens
well,
everywhere.
because back then, like that was before you had the I had the context
you have
of
1080p.
HD.
You have 1080p screens on your phone.
Oh yeah.
Well, not only that, it's like these were also when we were younger and we didn't have like jobs to buy our own things.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying like what we had.
Back then, it was a big deal if you got a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, because we had like the flat screen downstairs, but I that replaced the tube TV, and my mom was like, "Here's the tube TV." I'm like, "Woo!
I can play video games in my room now."
Yeah, like that was when it was exciting. Like I
Yeah.
can play games in my room.
Yeah, I remember.
That was those.
awesome.
That was
I
a
had
turning
a tiny
point.
little fucking tube TV in my room that I played Xbox 360 on until like 2008,
Dude,
and then I moved on to a bigger
I
tube
used to
TV.
play. Okay, obviously there's not a lot of news this week, but actually there's no news. But I remember going over to my friend's house. He had a 12-inch like tube TV, and that's
Okay.
where he played all his games on. And we're like, wait, so when we're playing like Rock Band together and like Modern Warfare, this is what you're playing on? He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, how far away do you sit from your TV? He's like, no, I take this like box and I just sit here, then I sit down. I'm like,
nothing was better than the days of like the small TVs and like the sleepovers where like you just bring your fucking TV because it's like a cube and we can line up 3 or 4 TVs in a row and play fucking
have
Halo
a LAN
2.
party. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh man,
Those were fun days.
But yeah, so with my tax return money, that's going towards a 4K HDR TV.
I still would rather see you get into buying a PC.
I'll buy a PC at some point. I just don't feel like I need it right now, in particular.
Master Race.
I'm happy with what I have, and
That's
then
good.
plus like the Switch is coming out, so I'm gonna buy a Switch when that comes out.
Just keep talking about more your console trash.
Shut up.
I also yesterday kind of on a whim, like I've wanted to learn an instrument for a really fucking long time. And I have a little bit of a base in electric piano, but I stopped a while ago. So I decided, fuck it. I went to Target and I bought like a Casio keyboard. It's like $130. Set it up, have it in my room, and I've been playing that consistently. And I was telling Charlie about this earlier, but like I'm really enjoying learning that. Like that's kind of eaten into a lot of my game time too. Is that where I would just sit down and play a game. Now I want to sit down and I want to practice and. I've been using an app to kind of teach me a little bit. The app has been fantastic. But I can play whatever that fucking Mozart song is now.
Fucking
like the most basic Mozart song.
Lose Yourself.
Yes, Lose Yourself by Eminem.
I can play the piano part of Daylight by Matt and Kim, and that's all I can do. But still, for me, for someone who has like very little musical base to no musical base at all, like I'm proud of myself. I'm proud I was able to even learn that much. And it was an effort to learn how to read sheet music, but now I kind of have an understanding of how to read sheet music.
That's
now,
kind of the stuff like you learn it once and you'll never forget it. I think learning a musical instrument
and I think
is a
it's
good
cool
skill.
though because I was worried that was like kind of past my prime, the point where I could really learn an instrument effectively. But really, like no matter how old you are, you can learn something.
Exactly. It's a good mental
and
process,
and
to
it's
put your
fun.
brain
Like it's
through.
fun to like put your mind to something else that isn't fucking video games or
I love it.
other bullshit work.
I love playing music.
Yeah.
I speaking of like apps that teach you things, like even fucking Rocksmith, like that game game put a guitar in my hands and made me learn how to play guitar.
Well, here's the cool thing about this app I'm using is that let's see if I can even get the name of it. It's on.
Well, it's on your phone. I would hope you can get the name.
Yeah, I mean, you should just be able to pull it
it's
up.
Simply Piano. But it gamifies you playing. So like it'll play a song and have the notes lined up, but then it'll have like a track, like a note track on it, kind of like you're playing a rock band or something. And then you just have that. I just have it on my keyboard, and it picks up all the volume and everything.
It picks up the notes you're hitting.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it gamifies it a little bit, which is me learning fun. Like it's made it a lot of fun. And then it gives you a rating at the end too, so you want to go back and you want to like get your score better. Like it gamifies it to a point where it's making it fun for me to learn.
That's cool.
Yeah. But really, that's it for me this week.
All right. Well, last week I got one of those what you call Steam gift cards, kind of because there was a big sale going on. I was like, let me limit myself. This is my $50 budget. I'll put
How'd
myself
that go?
on. Good. Only went like $3 over.
Okay, that's not bad.
So initially I was going to get a bunch of cheaper price games that were on my wish list, and then I ultimately decided to go with 2 games I haven't played. The first of which was Super Hot.
Yes.
Yeah, there we
which
go.
you guys had talked about last week, and I had heard a lot, obviously, listening to a Giant Bomb's end of the year fiesta thing that they fucking run all week. And I'm really mad at myself for not playing that game earlier.
Yeah.
Because I played it in 2 sittings. Because I started it up and I was like, all right, I'm really tired. I just didn't want to play it right then. And then the next day I just loaded up and just sat through and played the entire thing. And that game is just on so many levels fantastic. I absolutely love it. I love the slow, like the way the game works with the slow motion and stopping time only when you're
Time
moving.
moves when you move.
And just like the level design, the way they tell their weird story is just fucking awesome. Now, Dan, have you beaten it? I know you were talking about it.
I haven't gotten to the end yet. I've been distracted.
Obviously, I wasn't going to go into spoilers anyway, but yeah, just everything about it. And I love like the first time I was talking to you about this, the first time they give you, you get out of the game and go into the chat screen and it pops up and the guy starts chatting to you. I go, I'm like, okay, on the keyboard, I'm like, I guess I can type like what I want to say, but it's probably automated response. As you start to type, it just fills it out for you.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. Which
there are a lot of games on Steam that actually like make use of the keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Which now I'm interested. How does that handle on console? Because I just
You
feel
just
like,
hit left and right trigger.
Oh, what did you play on
okay.
Xbox?
Xbox,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Oh,
you play on
okay,
Xbox, yeah. See, to me, that's
It feels a lot cooler on
Yeah,
the
and you
Yeah,
guys
it's
are
probably a
typing.
lot more
Any
engaging.
word on when that's hitting PS4?
Is it not?
It's
on
not on
there?
PS4.
Oh, that's
it was
weird.
like one of their indie console exclusive
Oh,
things. So
that
I don't
sucks.
know. I don't know how long if it's like a time thing or if
I have
it's
no
permanent,
idea.
But I don't know. But Charlie said it last week. This is the one game that makes me wish I had or knew someone with a VR unit because I just want to pop into super hot VR.
Yeah, that
and
shit
just
is
experience that.
cool.
Because I find myself already like just playing it on the computer screen, mouse and keyboard, kind of like dodging sometimes,
Yeah.
like trying to get out of the way of the bullet. I'm like, fuck, man, I wish this was in VR. I love to just fucking move out of the way.
You
and-
can do some really cool shit.
yeah, even if you're just like tilting your head out of the way, like, man, it's awesome. Story's really cool. Honestly, if I had played it earlier, it would have been on my top 5 games of
Yeah.
the year. Like, just immediate impact on me. And I've been loving the challenge mode. Right now, I'm running through the katana only mode. Which the challenge mode essentially just gives you. Sorry, real quick. Gives you all the levels again. Except you can't pick up anything besides the katana in this one. And then there's another one that's only melee that I'm also kind of running.
Have you
through.
played the endless mode?
Yes, I've started doing that.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's also great. I kind of suck at it.
Yeah, you
And,
just get better.
In Super Hot VR, can't you like cut the bullets in half? With
Oh
the
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can
if
do
you
some
can time
crazy
it,
shit.
yeah.
Like I said on our Game of the Year episode, the coolest thing is in one of the levels, you're up top and your guys shooting at you below, and once you take them all out, you can literally throw the gun before it resets you to the new location on the same map. You're just down on the floor instead of up on the building. And when you're down there, you can start to move, and the gun comes at you, and you can fucking catch that gun,
That's
and then
cool.
just fucking kill them.
My favorite thing is like I wasn't that good when I first played through the story, but now playing through like the challenges on like the endless mode,
You learn.
I like the appreciation of like, all right, I'm gonna shoot my bullets at those 2 guys, then throw my gun, take over this person's body,
Yep.
then grab the gun, and I'm just like, this is fucking insane. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend it. It's such a good game. If you have a computer or if it's on Xbox, yeah, I just don't like. There's other stuff to say, but I don't want to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect length too.
It's tight.
And like
toy.
it makes me like. I heard someone else say this, but like it's completely true. Like you play it, and it feels like that's how you play all shooters almost. But like this is the way you kind of wish all shooters played.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a highlight reel of all the cool moments from
Yeah.
other shooters.
And like, but all of the fucking moments are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like just that fucking super hot,
Super
Like,
hot.
It's insane. Also, I just feel obligated to say it's probably the most innovative first-person shooter that I've ever played.
Everybody's like obligated to say that after
Yeah.
they've played it.
It's like
'Cause it's not a
everybody has
lie.
been impacted by that game in one way or another. It's so cool to see like that they fucking made a good game.
I haven't
You haven't made a good game.
because I can't play it.
No.
And what else was? Oh, Watch Dogs 2 I got.
Watch the
Ew.
watch underscore dogs too, or did they do away with the underscore?
I would have to look at it. I don't actually know.
I've seen you come up on Steam, and I don't think I see the underscore when it comes up.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to look at it. Anyways, yeah, no, that game is really good actually.
I heard
Okay.
they did
Yeah.
a 180 from the first one.
100%. The
They did a
immediately
360 and walked away.
the tone is way different. It's a lot more. It's
Is it fucking dumb like the first game should have been instead of trying to be all serious?
Yes, it's way more dumb, but like dumb in the good way. Like
Okay.
as you were kind of alluding to, it's like dumb in the way of like one of the best characters in the game wears a fucking mask over his face and it has
it-
like emoji.
So I have to ask, like, so
Wrench.
the thing I was worried about,
Yes.
looking at all the pre-release stuff of this game is that I was worried it was gonna be like super memey, like there were just gonna be memes and like internet things everywhere, and then it was gonna push the whole social I'm a hacktivist thing super hard. Like, how egregious is it with that stuff?
I think it does all that stuff. Like it does.
Is it like in a cringy way though? Because it
No.
feels like it's so easy for that to be.
I
like,
think the characters are done well enough that it doesn't feel that way when they start making those
even
jokes.
like Marcus when they first showed him off, like you took one look at that character and you thought like hipster hacktivist edgelord.
Like, and you totally do, but you totally get that stuff. Like even when you first see like Wrench or the girl, I only
Yeah.
know Wrench's name right now, and there's 2 other people with you in the group. But like, I feel like all those characters are like written very well. Like
Okay.
anytime they talk, like especially, I mean, I'm gonna keep hammering it because he looks so stupid.
Is it the cube guy?
Yeah, the guy
With
who
the
has
mean
like with
face?
the faces and everything, and he's done so well. Like Like there's one part where like someone goes to like not yell at him, but kind of be like tell him to shut up, and like he just like does the like perfect timing, goes from like happy to like a sad thing on his face, and like it just works like in a really weird way.
They kind of do like the memes, like they're like they make their own versions of those things.
Yeah. So they kind of put their own spin on
Ubisoft
it.
does love making memes.
oh God.
Like I've only played like 5 or 6 hours, but as I was saying, like it is a complete like 180 from.
Did you do
what Watch Dogs
Did you get
1 was.
the rapper side mission?
Yeah, I did that.
What's it? Bobby
Oh, I don't remember the rapper's name. I thought it was more funny that this billion they were making fun
Bobby
of
Stokes, something like that.
I honestly couldn't tell you the rapper's name. Like
I saw the highlights on the mission, just
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
but yeah, no, it's much more funnier. The story is much more lighthearted. Doesn't take itself so seriously. Like what was his name? Adam Pierce, Aiden Pierce.
Yeah.
Wow,
Aiden
that
Pierce.
guy's definitely not forgettable at all.
Yeah, no. It's just a fun game to run around and play around. I think the driving feels better. The shooting feels better. The actually doing things like stealthily by hacking stuff, it just feels better in this game for some reason. I don't know. Maybe if I went and played Watch Dogs 1, it probably would kind of feel the same. But
Are you playing non-lethally or lethally?
non-lethally, kind of just hacking around, like playing as a little RC unit. That's kind of what I'm putting my upgrades into.
From what I've seen, it almost looks like the gunplay, like, well, I'm sure it's fine. It almost looks like that was just put in there because you kind of have to have guns in your open world AAA game.
Yeah, and a lot of people have said it, and they even make a point. It would feel weird going around just mass murdering everyone and then go into the cutscene when they're not really like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why it kind of made me want to go the non-lethal way. Now I will pull out a gun if I need to. Like I have my taser, and then I have my regular gun. Right now I'm doing a story that's making fun of the what's that church? The
Westboro Baptist
no,
Church?
no, the Scientology.
Yeah,
It's making fun of
Scientology.
Scientology, and that's a whole thing. Like if the believers don't pay, their whole thing in the game is the believers have to go, and the more money you put into it, the more power you have in the church. But if you stop making your payments, then you literally kidnap you and take you away from your family.
Wow.
That's like what I'm dealing with right now.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's a weird game. It's actually like it's a good sequel, and I was happy to see like Steam just did their like top 100 sellers of the year, and they kind of broke it down. I think it was like in the gold tier.
Yeah,
so
I looked at that too.
How
yeah.
does it? How's it look? Is it a nice looking game?
Oh, awesome! They released a. I downloaded.
You're playing on
I started,
PC.
Yeah, I'm starting on the computer. They started. One, it just looks good already, and then they released a free high res texture pack.
Oh, nice.
So I downloaded that and made it look even better. I got it like with the texture pack. I kind of have to lock it at 60.
Okay.
Which is ugh.
Oh,
But no.
Wow.
no.
Anything under 100 is like, oof.
Goddamn right.
Might as well be playing on a fucking Xbox.
But no, it's one of the few games I like just plugging into my TV and just playing on the big TV.
Oh, so you've been playing your computer on your TV?
Yes, I got
Yeah.
I got
how do
a
you like
longer
doing
HDMI
that?
cable. I like it for certain games. It's funny. I feel because I used to play Rocket League on my PS4, so obviously that was connected to my 50-inch, and then when I got a computer, I moved to the smaller screen. And so I was like, oh, I'll play on the big screen again. I found myself being worse at Rocket League when I played on the bigger screen.
Huh.
And I don't know, maybe it's because I had a...
That could be delay.
No, it wasn't delay because every other game feels fine.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's because the image is more condensed on the
yeah,
smaller
exactly.
screen.
That's what I'm seeing with that type of game.
Is that a 1080p monitor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
no, visually it all looks the same and everything.
yeah. I was just saying because if your resolution was if your monitor was a higher resolution, you'd be able to see more detail, and that could be
Yeah.
why. But if they're both 1080p,
Yeah, no, that's
and like
what it is.
you sitting as close to your monitor is about you seeing as many pixels as you sitting as far away from your TV
Yeah.
when you compare the size. So yeah, I know that's weird.
I don't know. Well, I do when I play Rocket League, I sit far away from my monitor,
Oh, okay.
like in a weird because it's just all I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm enjoying playing it on the big TV. It's fun. Anyways, yeah, Watch Dogs 2, surprisingly good, super hot. Fucking play that game. Charlie, what have you done this week?
I thought I was done with big fancy open world meme games.
But right when I was out, they brought me right back in.
So I spent 6 hours in a chair playing a game called Paper Mario
Oh, okay.
for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
That
That's an alright
game
game.
is incredible. I think it's awesome.
Have you never played the
I have-
N64 Mario Party?
Have you ever
Paper
played-
Mario?
have you ever
I'm
played
playing
a
it
Paper
on N64, and I'm playing it on an emulator. And we both know we tried Donkey Kong on this emulator,
Yeah.
and that was pretty rough. So Paper Mario plays well, but it is super broken on OpenEMU for
Oh, okay.
OS X. Basically, there are some parts of the game where like your sprite would be like kind of shaded black, or like it would be darker. In the emulator, it's just pitch black, like every silhouettes. And like certain menus are just fucked up. They like flash. It looks like Missing No from Pokemon. Like it flashes like weird lights, and I get seizures. And sometimes I pass out for 45 minutes and wake up with my underwear off.
Oh, there you go.
But man, the combat in that game is so much fun. Like the action commands are.
Have you never played a Paper Mario game before?
I have never played a Paper Mario game. I have only seen people play Paper Mario games.
Thousand Year Door, I would argue, is better. It may be the best.
Thousand Year Door is the best in this series, which is the next one.
Well,
GameCube, yeah.
GameCube,
and then there's one on Wii U, right?
Yeah,
that was like
it's like color
an action
something.
game.
Color Splash.
Oh, okay. But fuck, dude, like I love that game. The time had just gone right past me. Like it's so relaxing, and the music is great. It's like early MIDI music. The game came out in 2001 on the N64.
I remember seeing commercials on TV for that game.
It was one of the last big games for the N64.
Well, it's funny because that was originally like, if you go back and look at like all the early stuff for that game, that was originally marketed as Super Mario RPG 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's essentially what it is almost.
I think the funniest part. So I Twitch streamed this whole thing, and that was so much fun because each game kind of has its own little community on Twitch, and like so I pop up the stream and people come in, they're like, oh, make sure you want to go do this, you want to go get that thing. And there were some puzzles where I should have spent a lot more time on, but I kind of just got past because people were dropping hints. And I said on the stream, oh, I'm gonna just do this in one sitting, and then the first thing I got was lol, you're an idiot, because this is a fucking 35-hour game.
It is a very long game.
How long did you think it was?
I thought it was going to be like maybe a 10-hour
It's right in the title,
maybe?
RPG.
Yeah, and like that, like
Or
it was
the title of the first
disguised under the cuteness of a Mario game, and like
no, that's an RPG-ass RPG.
Yeah, like you got to talk to dudes, and you gotta pick up, you gotta find those star pieces if you want to go get a cooler badge.
You have to like actually like focus on leveling, because if you don't level enough and you get to a certain boss, you'll be fucked.
Yeah, you get wrecked.
Like the whole like HP, BP, and FP. So that's like flower power, your badge points, and your health points. Like, wow, it's like was blown away really by how much I fucking love that game.
Yeah. It's a deep game.
It is. You can really get lost too much.
The dialogue
in that game.
is also really funny too.
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue is
Again,
hilarious.
I would suggest playing after you're done with this. Play Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
It's
I want to.
It's that game, but like it's twice as good.
Other people I have talked to say that. Like they're like, oh wait, have you played Thousand Year Door?
Yeah, that's the one to play.
And there were other games I played this week. I brought over my Xbox and we played some. I showed some friends Gears 4 because they hadn't played it, but they were fans of the series. And we played Goat Simulator, which exactly right. But there's always that
20 for 5 minutes simulator.
Yes, literally. But there's always that one guy who can kind of find joy in anything dumb. And so one of my friends is that guy, and so like sat there and like did everything in one of the maps, which was. It was a joy to see, but also like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking gouge my eyes out because this is Goat Simulator and it's been more than 15 minutes. I'm slowly but surely going through The Last of Us on grounded mode again. That game is just, it's a masterpiece. It's wonderful. I love that game. And I think that's about it.
Okay. Daniel?
All right. So I can really only narrow down to 2 games that I've been playing this week, just between like family events and work. So last week I had mentioned that I picked up Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
Like my history with that series really is only like played like 4 hours of 13 and was like, well, this is dumb.
Have you hit your breaking point with that game? Because I assumed you were going to hit your breaking point. With that game like a weekend.
And then my other experience with the series is 7, which I got like 15 hours into and then just kind of stopped. Not that like I lost interest, I just played other stuff. So I probably eventually go back and play 7 because I have it on Steam. But I actually really like 15. I kind of dig the combat. It's a little confusing at times, and I feel like enemies don't have much of a tell on their attacks. Like you have a dodge mechanic, but like I don't always know when they're going to attack me. Like it's not like other games with a dodge mechanic where it's very obvious where you're about to get hit. It's like, oh, okay, I can dodge.
That's why you just kind of walk around and hold
the dodge button. Yeah. But I love the characters. I love the 4 characters. I think that they're really funny, and I love the camaraderie between the 4 of them. And I think that, like, I love tales about like friendship and like brotherhood and like guys who have to like go on. Like, it's just a nice story. It's like a good quality like bro time kind of like thing, and I think it's really well written for the most part.
That aspect was great.
I'm about like 6 hours into it, because my time has been taken up by the other game I've been playing, which I'll get into in a second. But I'm really liking it so far. I just unlocked the ability to ride the chocobos. Like
Nice.
I finished that.
That's gonna make ground missions and like kind of going between hunts and quests a lot
Yeah,
easier.
because like that was the one thing I thought was really annoying was like I would go on a hunt and I have to like because I can't really take the car near where I need to go.
Yeah.
So I'm like running in one direction for like 3 minutes before I finally get to it. But now that I can ride the chocobos, I can get there way faster.
Oh yeah, it speeds up the process immensely.
So that'll be really nice. I'm definitely gonna. I'm taking my time with it because a game like that, I feel like I want to.
So you're out in like the open world.
Yeah,
now.
like I'm on chapter like 3, so I'm like officially where like I can go wherever and do whatever.
It's huge. Like,
I mean, like,
one of the first things I did when I hit that point was I got on a chocobo and just fucking did the whole map.
Yeah, that's
on the
like that's what I
chocobo.
want to do. Like I just want to break through like side missions, do the hunts. I'm really enjoying it, and even like the fishing is fun. You know, like the fishing is fun, and like I love the photography thing with Prompto, where like at the end of the day, like he just takes pictures throughout the day, and then like they just show you the 10 best ones, and like it's funny. Like it's like you get some like pretty funny shots, and the food.
Looks amazing.
It's like
yeah.
there's like probably close to 100 different food options. I mean, I haven't even gotten half of them, but they're all like individually like rendered and they look real and they look delicious.
The best part is like the slight wobble and shake
Yeah,
the
like
food has as the plate
Put
lands
it down,
on the
like it'll
table.
wobble a little bit. Like the food has physics, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit. So I'm
Game took
10
10
years
fucking
in the
years. It
making.
better have
10 years-
fucking food
10
physics.
years in the making.
Like
Final
food
Fantasy
porn.
15.
I think food pornography is
it's-
a
Like
good
you're
way
gonna
to
start
put it.
seeing those BuzzFeed food videos,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be like Final Fantasy food.
I'm sure there'll be like a Final Fantasy 15 cookbook, like a real life cookbook put out at some point because there's some really good looking food in that
Chocobo
game.
Delight. It's your
Um,
favorite dog. It's your favorite dog food blended with literally dog poop.
So that's what I've been playing. So like I said, I've sunk maybe like 6 hours into that. And I would play more of that if it weren't for my other game that I've been playing.
I've seen you play this, I think, 24/7 since.
Since you've probably seen me on Steam
Yeah.
every single day, I broke down and I bought Civilization 6. And let me tell you, that is...
I've never had more fun managing turkeys in my life.
No, that is everything that
Just
I love
turkey in this
about...
case.
Everything I love about every Civ game I've ever played rolled into one, and it works so well. I mean, really, the only chief complaint that people have that I kind of feel too is the AI is a little weird. Like, I don't know, they kind of bother you a lot. Like,
Okay.
they'll have things where like the Civ will like come to talk to you. Like, each civilization has its own sort of personality. So, like for example, Greece. There's actually 2 different versions of Greece you can play as. So the one, I don't remember her name, but she's a leader, and she'll like every 5 seconds, if I'm doing like a game where I'm not like militaristic. She'll be like, why aren't you going to war? What are you afraid of battle? And she'll do like every other turn. And I'm like, all right, I understand. You're not happy that I'm not a war person, but just go away. I'm trying to do other things. So that's a little annoying at times. But that's something I feel like they can patch out for the most part. But as far as it's concerned, though, it's like the most complete Civ game on launch ever. Because usually the Sim games are a little like wonky on
Yeah.
release, but this one is like really, because there's no expansions out for it yet or anything. It's still just the base game. It's really good. It's just really detailed in terms of the gameplay itself. They definitely went for a way more cartoony art style, which I actually really like. I think it actually works really well.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks really nice.
And it has like this really nice old world map aesthetic over the whole, like when you look at it, like any parts that you haven't discovered, rather than it just being pitch black like it wouldn't be in the other games, it like looks like an old map.
Mhm.
And it's really cool. And then like it has this cool like kind of like color effect as you like discover the land. It's really nice. But I think that the variety of like different kinds of resources you can get, and I think that all the options you get in the game for your Civ is really cool. And I think all the new win conditions, because there's different ways you can win a game,
Mhm.
like not just like taking everybody's city over, but now you can win like a religious victory. Like if you create a religion and every single other Civ follows that religion, you win.
Didn't you do that before?
I did that once, but you couldn't win that way, but it was just beneficial. But now
What did you call it?
Oh, Khalidism, because
I
it was
hate you.
DJ Khaled. When
I'm
DJ
starting to-
Khaled Snapchat.
I started to get flashbacks because we did years ago, like maybe one of the first 10 episodes. I think you were talking about this.
Yeah. So I haven't gone for that yet. I've played one whole game to completion as the United States. And
America.
I won a culture victory, which means that like everyone wants to come visit my Civ,
Oh,
like to
okay.
a certain point. Like you have to have more foreign tourists than other civs have domestic tourists, like tourists from your own civ. Yeah, so you have to basically be like where everyone wants to go. And I love the name of the achievement for winning that way. It's called listening to your pop music and wearing your blue jeans, and that's the name of the It's actually very funny. There's a lot of humor in the game, and one of the best parts of the game is that it's entirely narrated by Sean Bean.
Really?
Sean Bean narrates the entire game. Every time you discover a technology, he reads like a quote about that tech. It's like a thing that's been in Civ games.
So how'd they kill him off?
He dies in the trailer.
Are you fucking serious?
He dies in the trailer. I'm not kidding you. And there's actually an interview with him where they ask him, how do you feel about dying in the trailer? And he's like, wait, I didn't know I died in the trailer. But he narrates the entire game. So like every time like a quote gets read after you discover a technology or a new Civic, he'll read it off. And it's really cool to hear his voice.
Why did they kill him off in the trailer just as a joke?
They probably did. Because in Civ 4, it was Leonard Nimoy who did it. Civ 5 was a guy who for a long time I thought was Liam Neeson because he sounds just like him, but it's just some other guy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was Leonard Nimoy in the fourth game. But yeah, it's Sean Bean, which I was pretty excited about. So yeah, I mean, if you're into strategy games, especially if you've played any other Civ, like I thought it couldn't get better than Civ 5. I know for some people that's blasphemy because some people say 4 is the best, but I love 5. It's like the one that I played the most. I would say Civ 6 is a really, really good entry point too, especially if you haven't played the game either. And what's nice too is that I was able to go in and play Civ 6 like I was playing Civ 5, and there's not too much difference. I actually basically, when I started the game, it asked me like, are you new to Civ or just new to Civ 6? And I did new to Civ 6. So I was able to still play it like Civ 5, but it would just give me like, okay, here are some of the things that are new. Here are some of the changes we've made. And here's kind of how you adjust to play this one rather than playing the old ones.
Okay.
So it works. So it's an easy game to transition to as well. It's not filled with too many overly complicated new mechanics. It still plays very similarly. But it's still just in terms of aesthetics and just I think just the gameplay in general feels a lot more fresh. So I would definitely give Civ 6 2 thumbs up.
One thing I love about Civ, and as someone who doesn't play it, like as an outsider looking in, is just that those games are announced and then only like a few months later they're out. There's no bullshit. I mean,
Civ 6 was like
no
here's
bullshit,
Civ 6.
no drama around in them. They're just there.
Yeah. Well, because Sid Meier is like a genius, and he's still working on those games. It's crazy. He's been doing this for 25 years.
They put out Galactic Civ last year, right?
Beyond Earth.
Yeah. That one wasn't as well received.
That wasn't well received until the expansion came out. Rising Tides or whatever. I do want to pick that up. The one last funny note I'll say about Beyond Earth was if you want a technology victory in Cid 5, you go to space and a little screen will come up and be like, you won, like, and then a like end game or one of them would be like go beyond Earth. And I thought if I clicked that, it would like bring me to like a little screen of like, oh, here's your outer space colony, but it literally brings you to the Steam page for Beyond Earth. And I'm like, those sneaky little fucks put an ad in the game when you win.
To be fair, that doesn't sound that egregious.
It's not egregious, but it's just like
it'd be cool if they offered it at like a discount.
Yeah, like you want a science victory.
Here's $10 off of our great space game.
Yeah, so
go Space Cows.
Go Space Cowboys. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I mean, I literally have put almost 30 hours into Civ 6 this week. So
dear God.
I don't have a lot to talk about other than that.
Hey, when you love something, you play Civ 6 and have
30 hours.
No, I mean like so there's sometimes where you don't want to play anything else. Like
yeah, that's true. No, that's like Paper Mario.
Fuck, yeah, I messed around with Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I didn't talk about it primarily. I've just been playing fucking Doom again.
Mine's Rocket League.
This is the one thing I want to play.
Like I've been trying to like do other things, like other games other than Civ 6, and I'm like, I just want to keep playing this.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but Dan finally brought over Wolfenstein. I totally forgot to.
Oh yeah, talk about that a little bit.
I was hoping we were just gonna dodge it.
I just really quick. I'm in the first hour. It's trash. I hate it. It looks like a garbage Steam game that you'd buy for 30 cents. Like really.
He just doesn't get it, Joe. He just doesn't
I'll try it again, but that's all I'm gonna do for now.
Just power through for the first hour.
I really want to play fucking Paper Mario.
I gotta be real. Even when I tried it, like even getting past that, like yeah, it improved, but I didn't think it was like anything astounding.
I just thought it was such a good story. I thought it was just a good, fun game.
So okay.
It was just a good shooter, good quality shooter.
Yeah,
it's not. It's no Doom.
No.
Oh no.
Well, no, it's not as good as Doom, but I think that for what it was.
Since Doom is, trash,
You're right. It's trash, just like The Witcher 3 is trash, just like anything else you.
What else haven't I played that
you can just shit
talk? Persona 4.
Like
Persona 4 is
no,
trash.
that game is actually trash.
Trying to think of other games people have made me play that I didn't like.
Inside.
No, I like Inside.
No, you told me, you said, Tom, I think Inside is the worst game ever made, and
Yeah.
I wish horrible
terrible.
things upon the developers and their families.
That's not true.
Those are words that came out of your mouth.
That is 100% not true. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with Nintendo Switch predictions.
I'm so happy.
No, you're not.
Hey guys, it's your host Joe. Thanks for checking out the show this week. If you haven't already, head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. We love to hear from you. Send an email to podcastemastered@gmail.com with any comments or questions. We may even discuss your email live on the show. To stay up to date, follow us on Twitter @DMastercast. For our live streams, you can go to twitch.tv/podcastemastered. And lastly, our video content can be found at youtube.com/podcastemastered show. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, and we are back with our Nintendo Switch predictions. This is a long time coming.
Yeah,
I feel like
quite a long time.
If you look back, the NX was officially announced right after we started the show. Like, we started the show, and a few weeks later, Nintendo was like...
It was shortly before Mr. Iwata passed away.
Yeah, but a few months before, it was when they announced they were making mobile games, and to kind of, put water on that fire, they were like, but we're still working on a new console. It's called the NX. Fast forward to October.
One might say it was maybe that was said too early.
I still defend that it was made at the right time, because if they didn't say they were continuing to work on console development, then people just would have been blasting them. So it's easy to say that now, but at the time, it all made sense, because otherwise people just would have been blasting them for ditching consoles.
Yeah, but
that wasn't their intent.
Before we got anything, before we knew what this was rough. That was almost 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't intended to be. It was a year and a half, but and then fast forward to October this year, we got our Switch reveal trailer, which obviously we talked about, tons of rumors, and now it's all coming up January 12th, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We will be getting our Nintendo Switch presentation, probably direct form from Nintendo. So that's why we are here, to make some predictions to what we think will happen.
Is that what we're gonna do?
I think so.
Cool. We'll try.
Do you guys remember, before jumping, you guys remember the controller?
For the Switch,
the quote unquote controller leak,
the Joy-Con.
Oh yeah, that one looks stupid as shit.
No, the one that leaked.
No,
and
it was
thought
like
it was real.
It was like an oval
Oh,
shaped with the
and it was
buttons
the
on
screen.
the thing.
Yeah, that thing was so fake.
We thought it was real.
I don't think I ever thought
I
it was
think we
real.
talked about
I'm
it on
pretty
the
sure
show.
I was very adamant that it was very fake.
Stu was on that show with us.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'll
Yeah.
have to go back and listen.
Yeah. So my first prediction is about release date and price.
Who cares about any of that shit?
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
kinda
worst.
went-
It's the least interesting.
Kind of went simple. March 12th.
The United States
Which
will
is-
get 3 in total. Good luck.
March 12th, which is a Sunday. Kind of lines up with their Sunday releases.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, Wii U, 3DS games.
Huh.
They're major games. They've been releasing
Interesting.
on Sundays. 2 price points, $250, $300. Difference would be memory. And going with the rumors, upgradable memory with the
Yeah.
SD cards. And
Which for a AAA console device, 32 gigs.
This isn't a AAA console device, though.
Well, I assume
handheld.
any games that are releasing on it are going to be AAA that are developed by Nintendo.
yeah. So that's kind of what I'm going. Difference 32, 64 memory for the
God.
for the
Here's the
things.
thing. I think you got to remember, like, I know we're kind of like hanging out on this point, but I think you have to remember that Nintendo is fucking amazing at optimizing for their hardware. So they can make, like, you look at Wii U games, like, a lot of them looked really great. Mario Kart 8 looked fucking phenomenal, but they were small. They were small games, like barely even fitting into a gig or two. So I feel like they're going to be able to do similar things on the Switch and kind of utilize what is presumably going to be a limited amount of space well.
Yeah, but- and I bring up that argument because the Wii U failed because those big AAA games weren't coming, and like nobody is really staying to play a new Mario game. Like, people are coming for a new Mario game, but not in droves, and they're not hanging around for a long time. And so I say that, like, if you want to play, God forbid, let's say there's a Battlefield 1 port.
Okay.
That is your, how big is that game? 50 gigs.
Let's say 50 or 40.
If your
40.
console,
roughly 50 gigs.
if your console is coming at you with 32
Skyrim
gigs,
Special Edition is about 40 gigs, and we know for a fact that's going to be there close to
So,
around launch.
that's what I say. Like, oh, they make SD cards as big as maybe 256 gigs, but that's going to be like a $200 SD card or a $100 SD card. So that's why I
Unless we're
bring
gonna
that
be
up.
looking at some proprietary
Yeah.
Nintendo shit.
Well, everything going around is that it's not proprietary, which would be worse if it was proprietary.
Yes, that
'cause
would
the
be
prices would be even higher, and they would fall into
No,
how the Vita failed with
the
their
proprietary memory is all of your old Vita memory cards are now compatible with the Switch.
Yeah, that would be the worst way to go is proprietary because that
Yeah.
fucking that was one of the things that annihilated the Vita pre-launch.
Yeah.
And it would do the exact same thing for this. But Charlie, what's your first one?
My first one is, so these are technology based. I kind of was doing some reading and like just knowing where like big things are happening to like graphics developers like Nvidia and AMD and like all of their plans are public, and it like Apple devices line up with roadmaps of Intel, and like other companies do that with these graphics cards. So my first one was the chip to be used is the Tegra, and by the time this comes out, they will have their own custom solution Tegra, but it's like the next gen. So mine was taking the fact that Nintendo was working with Nvidia to develop a custom version of the Tegra chip. This modern version could include major enhancements to the graphics processor, and that will fall in line with my second prediction. But I think this is going to be it's going to be similar to like the 1080 line, like those series of processors. It's going to have similar architecture to those.
Okay.
And that's going to be pretty
Oh,
cool
I know
to
about
see.
that.
It's yeah, we'll see. But between the things I've read and the roadmap of where the Tegra, I think it's like the X2 chip,
Yeah.
they seem to be, all those things seem to be converging. Like it's going to be using Kepler
I think they said they
architecture.
use-
Yeah, wasn't there a rumor that just came out that it wasn't using the X2, it was using an earlier
It's
version?
gonna. I think it's going to be some hybrid of the two.
Yeah, that's
using
the rumor going around,
advancements of like those lines of cards, like the things they've learned and what Nintendo is kind of. They're basically gonna say, oh well, if we want it to run for this many hours, we want this much power, we want this much wattage going to our chip, running to the screen thing. So I think there's gonna be some real good stuff coming out of Nvidia for this. They even have a post. Nvidia even has a post on their website.
Yeah, they're very proud that they're
Yeah.
processing.
So I think
system.
there's going to be some cool new technology coming for this.
Yeah.
So my first prediction has to do with app integration, like things like Netflix and YouTube
Yeah.
and Hulu
Microsoft Sam.
and Microsoft Sam. And I think that one thing we'll see is some kind of new creative way. Again, my predictions are very general.
Uh-huh.
I don't have anything specific because I'm not as creative with that kind of shit.
We know.
This is
from
why
the
I'm
other
not
prediction
part of the
shows.
research and development team for any of these companies. So
That's why.
That's
that's the only reason. That's the only thing that's keeping me back.
Otherwise, you're completely qualified.
Yeah, yeah.
100% qualified. No, but I think like I don't know, something to do with the way it works with apps, because you have the screen controller and then you have, it plugs into the TV. I think that there is a potential there for being able to, use it in some kind of way to, I don't know, like watch something on the go and then have it playing and just plug it in and it just pops up on the TV, which I'm sure is probably already.
Yeah, I can
worked like
guarantee that'll happen.
But also, like, when you think of like how Netflix had like the party system on the Xbox,
Oh, yeah, I remember
something in that line of thinking of having some sort of exclusive little extra functionality to these apps, because I think that's something that Nintendo would probably be interested in, because I know for a fact that like back last gen in consoles, like the most watched the Netflix was used on the Wii more than any other device in the world.
That's pretty crazy.
Like even more than computers, the Wii was what Netflix was watched
like
on the most.
Wii, not Wii U.
Not
like
Wii U,
Wii.
the
Standard
Wii.
definition.
Like,
Well,
this is-
here's
Wow.
the thing: like people didn't care. They didn't care about high definition
Yeah.
or not. Like,
Well, that's also because like
watched
everybody and
their
their
shit.
grandma literally had a Wii,
yeah.
and it was
That's
like,
true.
oh, I could just plug this. I can connect this to my Wi-Fi and
my
get
tube TV.
Netflix, and to my tube TV and get Netflix.
you couldn't.
So I think I don't know. I would be interested to see if if Nintendo struck a deal with Netflix or Hulu or one of these big video streaming services, and we see some
unique.
some kind of unique version of like not even just Netflix, like I don't know, Netflix Switch or something like that. Like a specialty Netflix type app for it.
I don't know. I think that's all going to depend on how big the market for this console is.
I like how Tom just like is
Just
shitting on
killing
most of our
everything.
posts. All right, big man, what's your first prediction then?
I think that the Switch at launch is going to be horribly understocked with just enough to satiate the amount of pre-orders they get, and you won't be able to find any in store until maybe this summer, like maybe around E3 time. June.
Well, I think it's basic that they create like artificial demand for these things.
Well, no,
especially
and that-
Nintendo.
but they aren't even coy about it.
Now, here's the thing. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I think they're seeing what's happening with the NES Mini and how there's this insane craving demand for it right now. Not even based on how many people want to actually play those fucking games. It's based on the idea that people have that this thing is rare and I don't want other people to have it. I want to have it. So they're going to buy it when they see it. And that worked with the Wii as well. So I think that they're going to really kind of unfortunately take that shitty strategy into account, and it's going to help them in the sales department. But it's really, I think it's going to make that system scarce to hard to find until like maybe at least June this year.
I think the worst part is that they get away with it too. Like we all talk about
They've
it. And
gotten
everybody
away with
knows
it for 10
it,
years.
and like we still just eat it up. So I mean, like, what are we gonna do? Like, we're all not gonna fuck. Like, that's never gonna happen. We're never not gonna go and buy these things.
Yeah.
But still,
Or
like,
it could work in the counter way of where they do that with this console, and then you keep finding out that, all right, well, this game is a kind of a disappointment, or I don't
Yeah,
want to play
right.
this, or this doesn't work the way
the consoles are
and it
failing.
can kind of backfire in a way to the point where it comes summer, it's like, yeah, I can find one, but
It's
I don't want to drop
$5.
my I don't want to drop my $300 on
Yeah,
this.
no,
right now.
like I said, it could always backfire. But I think initially they're gonna try to utilize that that artificial scarcity tactic, and who knows if
bad
it'll work
with
for
it.
them? Like it's working for them now with the NES Mini, but
Yeah.
I think these things are going to be hard to find
Yeah.
for a little bit.
I think that would be tough to do with just the way they've talked about not predictions, but their estimated sales, where they've talked about hitting like 2 million by the end of the fiscal year and
I think
stuff like that.
they don't ship. I don't think they ship or make a whole lot more than 2 million before the end of the fiscal year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's only if say my predictions right on March 12th, that's only like 3 weeks to the end of the fiscal year. So, for them. All right, my second one is 8 first-party games are announced to be released in the first year.
Okay.
3D Mario game, Pikmin 4 or reboot, whatever the fuck, according to what rumors, that game's all over the place, but it's also apparently close to finished. Zelda, obviously being one of them. The new retro IP.
Okay.
Also Switch port, so that's 4. Sorry, Switch port of Sun and Moon, which whatever that is.
Please.
And
Stars.
then Wii U ports with new content for Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, and Mario Maker.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
That's
that
a
kinda-
solid lineup.
Those are announced, and that kind of fills out their first
I'm just
year.
scared
I
that
think you're going to be see Smash Brothers in there as well.
Yeah, see, I
Probably.
almost put Smash Brothers in there, and then I wasn't sure.
how does the idea of an all first party lineup strike you?
What do
Great.
you mean?
It's great, but like
Oh no, I'm just saying.
That-
These
yeah.
are their 8
First-
games.
yeah,
Like this,
okay.
this is what they're using to fill out their year first party
Okay.
schedule wise.
okay.
And obviously the rumor is, Mario and Zelda launch titles.
Yep.
And then you could throw Pikmin into the fall, the retro IP into the early next year.
Yeah.
And then kind of sprinkle. I would not shoot all your Wii U ports in at once. I would
Yeah.
do one at launch, one kind of later, and then one after that. Kind of like sprinkle them in, so it's not like a fucking clusterfuck of games at launch.
Uh-huh.
But no, obviously I feel like with third party support, and that goes to my next prediction too.
Okay.
Of there will be more than just 8 games on this thing.
Yeah, hopefully.
What's your second one?
So we all know that basically when you plug this thing in, it's gonna run at 1080p on your screen.
Mhm.
But one of the newest things to come out was like that it's using USB-C. So
Mhm.
this is a pretty far out there. It's maybe not that far out there, but it's highly unlikely. USB-C is a really powerful new spec for computers, and it's kind of one of those things that's taking a really long time to catch on. And I'm really excited that they used it. And the only reason I had this thought in my mind was because they did use it. And it would be really great if it wasn't just getting that graphical power boost because it's getting a little bit more power from a charger, but really if there was like a little chip or a little supplemental graphics piece in the dock. And USB-C is capable of pushing that power at the speed capable of having external graphics.
Okay.
And I think that maybe there is something else in that dock that we'll find out about that.
That you think USB-C is powering when it plugs in?
That can not only charge that dock in a half hour to full capacity, but like really push it up to like a 1080p 60 picture like consistently across games.
That'd be nice.
That would be cool. Like, and then so the other half of that is that it'll probably run 720p 30. Like, I'm willing to bet the resolution of that screen is probably a 720p screen.
That seems to be
That's
lining
been like
up with-
borderline confirmed. Which 720p for a mobile dedicated gaming screen. That's
It's not
pretty cool.
It's not like high DPI or anything, but it's not like a high pixel density,
Better
but
than the Vita. The Vita was the best we had for a while.
What was the Vita
the
running at?
Vita was
540?
like
I think it was like 540 or something.
terrible.
The OLED looked nice, like the original.
Yeah, it was like nice and colorful, but it was
Yeah.
fucking the resolution was trash.
Vita, rest
Dan?
in peace.
So
No.
yeah, rip Vita.
No, unrest.
You wanted to come back then?
No, I wanted to be unhappy.
So my second and final prediction is I think with that original announcement of all of these third-party developers who seem like they're on board, I think it wouldn't be too far out to say we might see at least one third-party exclusive for the Wii U or the what am I saying? The Wii U.
The Switch.
the
The
Switch.
Switch.
I
I'm
keep
just-
wanting to say the Wii Switch.
You know,
The
Dan,
Wii
there
Fit.
is heavily rumored that there is one in development right now.
That's what I
actually,
mean.
at
Like
Ubisoft.
like something like not even just like something that's not something kind of out of left field. That's done by like a big name developer that's only being made. It's not being ported to anything else. It's not also coming out on PC. It's like for the Switch. It's like made a game specifically designed around the
Yeah.
concept of the Switch.
Did you know about the Mario Rabbids game?
The Mario who?
Mario. So Ubisoft is reportedly, and there've been a lot of rumors around to support this. Ubisoft is working on apparently a Mario Rabbids. You know the Rabbids.
Oh, like the
Raving
Rayman
Rabbids.
Rabbids. Yeah.
Crossover RPG.
The Raymonds.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Um,
this is a thing.
So yeah, first of all, this sounds exactly what you're talking about. This is a third-party game developed by a third-party developer for the Switch exclusively. It's also being Laura Kay came out today and said it's being composed by Grant Kirkhope.
Oh wow. Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know who that is.
Yeah, what did
He's
you do?
like a
Banjo-Kazooie.
rare
Oh,
Donkey Kong
okay,
Country,
okay.
Banjo Kazooie.
Okay.
but yeah, apparently this thing is in development, and I think very possible could be a launch game or close to launch game.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see like the games.
Zombie 2.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Zombie U two.
But it doesn't fail on the
Zombie
Nintendo
Switch.
Zombie
console.
U two. You play
Yeah.
as a zombified Bono and you go around.
You play as a
God.
Zambano.
Zambano. But I would like to see like I don't know, maybe somehow the games integrate what the Switch is, like being able to take it and bring it and like maybe add some sort of gameplay elements that use that concept, like something about the game changes when you play it on the go than when you play it plugged into the TV. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would like to see something like that. I think that would be interesting.
Tom.
Now this is kind of broad, but I think the Switch is going to bring about a heavier focus of the of making games for the hardcore market than Nintendo has had in quite a few years. And I think you're going to see it with the launch games of Zelda and 3D Mario, and even like a fucking Mario RPG, like even if it has Rabbids in it. I think you're really going to see Nintendo try to recapture that market that really stuck with it during the now not these were amazing selling consoles,
Yeah,
but
I know what you're
that
saying.
were there during the N64, SNES, and GameCube era, that where Nintendo was making these more hardcore action-oriented games. You were getting Metroid Primes, you were getting core 3D Zeldas, and you were getting cool like Star Fox games. I think you're gonna see Nintendo really use this the Switch to not focus on gimmicks with their games like they have been with the Wii U to a lesser extent, but the Wii in particular. And I think they're going to focus on just making quality fucking games for the core market. Because I think right now they're looking at the success Sony's had with PS4, and I think they see that Sony's had that by appealing to the hardcore market. So I think Nintendo's going to take that same path. And I think you're really going to see a lot of that on the 12th. I think that's when they're going to speak to the hardcore market. And I think that's when you see these games like a 3D Mario, like a Zelda, that are marketed to that hardcore Nintendo base,
And almost show off the games more than like the box.
or the gimmicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
gotcha.
That makes a lot of sense.
That follows up with my third and final prediction. Now, obviously, we saw Skyrim in the reveal trailer. I think Todd Howard's going to have his segment in this video presentation thing.
Uh-huh.
It'd be Reggie, being all Reggie-like. Going,
Being all
here's my,
fun and
here's my
making me
best friend.
smile.
Here's my best friend
Holding
Todd.
his hands like this.
Yeah.
Now.
Now, here's my best friend Todd. It cuts to him. And he talks about Bethesda fully getting behind this system.
Doom on the Switch.
Well,
That'd be
they
pretty
announced
dope.
the Skyrim Special Edition is coming at launch, also with ports of Doom and Prey. And Doom, I'm assuming, because later this year, at some point, we will get a Doom Complete Edition with all the DLC shit. in it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that will be the edition that comes to it. Prey, and then promises future titles will launch day in, day on Switch.
That that would be. I would
Like
I
when
would
Elder
buy
Scrolls
Doom on
6
that thing.
comes out, that'll be a day in.
Or even
release.
like their other Bethesda published games.
No,
coming out.
any like
also-
ZeniMax umbrella games.
In
yeah.
amendment, they release the Elder Scrolls Travels on the Switch.
No. But that goes back with him where I think they're going to tout that Bethesda's like fully behind this and
That's good.
kind of just go all in on Bethesda products on this device, especially with games beloved like Doom and Skyrim. And just even though like Skyrim's old and like those two specifically would have been out for a while, just to show that Bethesda's willing to bring those games over to a Nintendo platform, which a Doom type game was kind of unheard of on
anything Nintendo.
anything Nintendo. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, Doom was on the Super Nintendo, and there was Doom 64.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like modern, like
Post N64.
yeah.
Oh,
You
you
don't-
know what? Oh, fuck. I think I can agree with what you're saying. I think they're gonna show. I think this is where they're gonna reveal the official single player add-on for Doom, and it's gonna say when you buy for the Switch, you'll be able to get the core game and the add-on for one base price in Doom the Complete Edition. Also, if you're buying Doom the Complete Edition on Switch, you also get a download code for Doom 64.
That would be great. I
virtual
just want to
console,
say that
yeah.
if there is a freaking Doom ad in a Nintendo Direct conference, I will officially have already seen it all in 2017.
Also, I don't know if Nintendo if they would have the rights to give Doom 64 away because that's owned by Midway. I think,
obviously
'cause it was developed by Midway.
Oh, yes.
That wasn't developed by id. That was
okay.
it was developed by Midway. So
Well, it's developed by Midway, but
it was published by
still-
id.
yes,
but what
it
I mean
still
is like
owns it,
I don't
though.
know. It
Midway doesn't have the rights to anything anymore.
Yeah.
It could be yeah, but I've seen stuff like that in the past where like there's legal conflicts because like they own it but they can't do that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
it's like weird legal shit with that.
yeah,
But who
I don't
knows?
think that would be a full problem.
But
I
I don't know
think
if I don't know if
it-
I don't know if Doom
Kinda dumb.
64 is also like a
The
thing
best
that people are
version, yeah.
like I like Doom 64, but I don't think that's a game
Well, it'd be a
people are
virtual
like.
console
Yeah.
release. That's
Yeah,
what,
I guess
you
that's
get
true.
code for
It would
It would just be the
virtual
N64 rip.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I
Charlie,
guess
what's
that
your
would
third
work.
and final one?
I had two.
Oh, you have two more.
Yeah. No, I had two.
Oh, you only had two. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, do you have a third one or?
Yeah. This goes back onto the Bethesda thing. I think mods are going to be available in Skyrim special edition for the Switch, but I think a few months or a week down the line, one nude mod is going to make it through, and then Nintendo's going to shut the whole thing down.
That would be hysterical.
Also, you know what I would
Kind of
like
be
to
like Sony and their mods.
Or
their fucking
they
mod
just won't
restrictions.
allow mods at all because they would have to have it all like everything be what's the word?
moderated?
Moderated, yeah. Like
Now, obviously, I would have never downloaded the thing. Obviously,
No, yes, no,
dude,
you
I
never
would
did.
never
You
download
never
it.
did
for
that.
scientific purposes, but there was a nude mod for Fallout 4 on Xbox One that I may or may not have had at one point on my queue.
We'll just go with you didn't have it.
Yeah,
I did have it.
Okay.
So that's Nintendo Switch. We are, by the time this comes out, we are a week and 1 day away from the presentation. Like I said, January 12th, 11 p.m. Eastern time. So we will all be watching that. Obviously, after that, we will be talking about it.
Yes. we
Probably a
will.
lot. Hopefully, we're not disappointed.
No. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, no, we've been excited for this.
Yeah, it has been.
So let's move on. We're going to wrap up the show. I just want to say next week we have our kind of like thoughts and like what games we're looking forward to and like year predictions for 2017. So this is to you
A
three.
year of predictions.
Yeah, think of the
We
game.
have to record it for a whole year.
Yeah, we're
Yes,
recording
it's-
straight for a whole year. I think of the three games you're most looking forward to coming out this year. One of which I made my list already. One of which was on my list last year.
Of course. That's
There we
great.
go.
Well, that's how it goes now, right?
Yeah, so we'll be back with that next week with episode 92. Until then, see you guys later.
Get along, little doggies.
Woof woof.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Don't do the Microsoft.
Who is that?
This is Microsoft Sam.